Greetings. We are back with another power couple, William and Tia Francis. William and Tia Francis have been married for 7 years and have been in ministry together for over 10 years. William is the pastor and senior leader of the Hub, and Tia is a psalmist and founder of Peaceful Mind Affirmations. Together, they are transforming ministry, minds, lives, and souls to influence communities and the world in which we live, work, play, and worship. I'd like to welcome William and Tia Francis. What we're looking at today are questions concerning your marriage. We see a lot of people who consider, or couples who consider themselves to be power couples, but we're looking at couples who are walking in the power of God, who are being a blessing to the kingdom. That is what true power couples are. And so that's what we want to shine a light on. So we're going to start with the first question. And we'll start with you, Pastor Will.
Sure.
What makes your marriage unique?
I think what makes our marriage unique, really just going back to T and I actually met on a radio program, and of course she was playing hard to get or whatever, had no interest in me whatsoever, and I think you did an event, and I bought the bike for the kids because I was really trying. I really didn't care about the kids. I was just trying to impress her because it was the only bike at this particular event. And I just think that our past are unique. I said how we met are unique. Our working relationship, because we did work during the early parts of our relationship, which sort of led into the marriage. But it's always been sort of a balance for me. I think a lot of people like have power, but we've strategically learned to activate that power in our marriage. So it's always a compliment, not, oh, you look nice today, or, oh, that's a nice shirt, etc. But a compliment as in a really good fit. And I think that's how all of that flushes itself out in ministry, in life, personal, with family, etc. Has been unique over the last several years that we've known each other.
Okay. Tia, what do you think is unique about your marriage?
I agree with the same, because we have worked together for so long, but seeing the work more so as ministry, knowing his heart and our hearts, God, I just feel like God divinely aligned it, our relationship to take place for ministry, like for kingdom, as well as for ourselves and for our families. So,
Amen. Awesome answer. All right, we're going to keep rolling here. So Tia, excuse me, this question is for you.
okay.
When was the exact moment that you fell in love with the dear pastor?
Ooh. I don't know if I could pinpoint like a date that I knew that I was in love with him. Because of for me, I didn't date a lot. It was only one other person before him that I actually dated. And that was like a 12 to 15 year span in between. So for me, it's about building trust. So in observing, so I just know over time, watching his heart was the thing that I fell in love with. I can't say I can pinpoint an exact time that I knew that I was in love.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pastor Will?
I'm gonna have to say the same. I know it was a comfort thing for me, having been married prior, and as my ex-pastor told her, she was one of the millions. I don't know where that came from in conversation with them, but out of the millions, she was chosen. But I knew that I was in love with her when I felt comfortable, which I think is what Tia was talking about with the trust.
Yes.
And I just remember being around her family, and and of course when you meet the soon to be in-laws or what have you, there it's just like, oh wow, what are they going to be looking at? And I was treated from day one just like I was one of her sons with my mother-in-law. And, it was just a real fit. And I feel very comfortable around and with her family as well. Sometimes even more so than my own family.
Family.
So I think for me, it was definitely the day that I felt comfortable. And I think that that all boils down to like vulnerability, especially for men. You know, we want to try to be so hard and all of that, but there was really a comfort, and I think that was when I was like, okay, she's the right one.
Okay.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
During the toughest time of your marriage, what did you learn about your spouse?
Oh my.
Tia, we'll start with you.
Ooh. During the toughest time of our marriage, I would say for me, the toughest time for me, what I learned was I watched his persistence, his resilience, and as I stated, him staying true to his calling, everything with the walk. And that it did take for me to my own comfort zone, because for me, like, it was my first marriage. It wasn't his first marriage, but it was my first marriage. And also going into a marriage of someone that became a pastor in the ministry, was ordained 3 months later. So having those perceptions of what that's supposed to look like was the hardest time for me. So I would say it wasn't about learning about him. It was more so learning about me and my walk and my journey in it, and not having to do it like anyone else. And being authentic and true to myself was where my peace was going to be. So I learned more so about me than I did about him.
Okay.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Pastor Will, same question.
So two instances come to mind. Actually, prior to us getting married, I think was a difficult period, because I called myself giving her her first marriage and forgot to ask her what she wanted. So I was an event planner before I was a pastor. So I went big, and she wanted intimate and small. And we just had to come to a place where we learned to communicate there. And right after she had experienced a illness, and I really realized how faithful she was, and had to give her her space, right? Because there wasn't a way that I could help. And a lot of times I know that I think I'm a fixer, right? People always come to the pastor to fix it. And I couldn't fix this particular thing, but allowing her space and time with the Lord strengthened the relationship with us. So there's a lot of times that she'll, you know, hey, the Lord is leading me to a fast or to lead this, that I become the support role. And I think that's okay in marriages, because it was interesting, because I think you posted something on your site about Dwayne Wade not leading in the marriage. And when I read that and I looked at that in reference to context, there are times when I cannot lead for her. I can support her, but not necessarily lead. I can't bring about her healing. Her healing has to come, you know, internally. And then, of course, it spills over into the household. So those are the two occasions I tried to lead and was leading wrong. And then the second one that I had to be the helpmate in that particular instance while she was going through her transformation.
Wow, powerful nuggets being dropped here. We're gonna keep it right, keep it moving. Pastor Will, you're in the hot seat right here, right now.
And I'm ready.
This question says, if you could heal a pain inside of Tia, what would it be and why?
Woo. So this answer may sound kind of odd, because I know what the pains are, but one of the principles that I think we both have leaned into is you have to allow your pain to push until vision pulls. So if I were to go in, one, I don't have the power to heal her pain, right?
Yes.
But if I had that power and healed it, then her vision may not come into fruition. We know that, or you may not know, but I know that my ministry was birthed out of my pain. right? That there was a lot of what we did, especially early on in ministry, was really for me, although I wasn't benefiting from it. It was really what I couldn't get when I needed it. And that's where we started. And then, of course, as we heard more, then we began to do more. So for me, it's the pain that pushes until the vision pulls. And I think pain is part of the process. You know, if it was all that easy, and we can talk Christ just a little bit, right? Yeah, he could have snapped his fingers before he even went up on the cross and it would have been done. But he himself had to go through some pain, right? In order that we have life. And I truly believe that in my that we have to learn from the pain, experience the pain or whatever, in order for us to even understand healing. Right. So I'm just going to sit on that. I don't know if you got something to add to
No,
that.
I agree with that. As far as healing the pain, that is something, it's an intimate thing that we know deeply and may not even always share with our partner how deep that thing is. So if we recognize some signs where you can see that something is bothering them, then for me, I always go to God in prayer about it, for him to fix or fill the void that thing, or even if he's not feeling validated or if he's not feeling worthy, I just ask God to go in and show him all of those things, not just for him, but it'll be for both of us, so that we can move forward to continue his work in the way that we should. So with anything, it's not about covering up what you're experiencing, because in order for you to be leaders and grow, you have to continue to grow yourself and be more transparent and vulnerable as well, so that others can see that there's not a pedestal. You know, that line is right here to stay, so we won't get puffed up within ourselves, and know that we have to seek God for all things, and we can't rely on ourselves. And once we're getting shaky, so you got to get back into alignment. So
yeah, I wouldn't be a pastor today if I did not experience hurt. And mine was church hurt. If I did not experience that church hurt. So the last thing that I told God that I wasn't gonna do was going to be a pastor. And he said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
that was the one thing I asked over and over again. Do you plan on being a pastor? Because what I wasn't going to do,
Right.
Man.
Pastor. So look
she,
at us now.
so she got married 3 months before I got ordained to be a pastor. Because that's just how God, like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I got some for you.
Yeah, whatever.
He does have jokes, doesn't he?
Yes.
And guess who's co-pastor now?
Also, that's tickling y'all, huh?
Yes.
Did that gift survey and scored real high on pastor. I was like, oh my.
That's
Yeah.
I was like, I gotta retake this.
So then you score high on pastor and shepherd, right?
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Did not see it coming.
Even told me she thought she did the test wrong, and I was cracking up. I was like, yeah, you did it wrong, all right.
Yeah.
That's funny. Co-pastor over here. And I wasn't gonna marry a pastor, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to marry no pastor.
Yeah.
But look at here.
Oh my gosh. All right. All right.
All right, we said we're gonna be sophisticated.
It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. All right, Pastor Will, what is the one, or I'm sorry, let's go to Tia. Let's start with Tia.
Okay.
Co-pastor Tia.
All right.
Don't get me hurt.
All right now.
Don't get me hurt. You talking about one pain she can take away that to the throat. I don't know if I was supposed to tell.
Yes, because you have the name for me with me now.
Yeah.
Co-pastor Tia.
Yeah.
What is the one thing in your relationship that you feel like you lost that you'd like to get back?
Ooh. I would definitely say more quality time, because it's so much about ministry. So I mean, doing ministry together, I pull back something to talk about when we are together. But definitely that quality time and that, yeah, more quality time and talks, because
Okay.
ministry is, I mean, I don't I know ministry is supposed to go forward, but I guess learning that balance from
Yeah.
between marriage and ministry, so having balance between the both.
Understood.
Yeah.
Pastor Will.
I would concur. Although we said early on that at the door ministry stops, ministry has trickled over the threshold. And sometimes you can prevent it, but or you can't help it. But I think you have to be intentional to make sure that ministry stops at some point. And now that we're sort of coming through, the last year with COVID, able to build a team, we're actually planning a vacation for next year. Some smaller vacations between now and then, but actually a vacation where our phones ain't even gonna work or whatever, because that's needed.
Yes.
Because it can become a 24-hour cycle, especially in this season of our ministry. It's always something, and the running joke is, oh, my mama died at 3:00. Well, she's still gonna be dead at 7, and you couldn't call at 7.
Yeah.
Right. And, it was like, because I jump up at 3:00, versus, hey, I gotta go. This person needs help. And a lot of times we don't get to, especially if it's a female, she's coming with me. If I need assistance or backup, Tia covers me in prayer a lot of times with some of the darker stuff that we do, and I need covering or whatever, but we don't have that luxury of saying, okay, today is off. Even yesterday, I had a family funeral and people were still texting, although I thought I was very clear with, between this hour and this hour, I have to attend a family function. So sometimes you can't help it, but I do believe that you have to be intentional to protect what's important to the relationship.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are on a roll here. You only got 2 questions left. Maybe we need to dig down in the bag and see if we can pull out something else, a little bit harder questions or something. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to plant this question right here in the middle of the two of you, and whoever wants to take it first can take it. You guys have been married for 7 years, right? Okay. Now that you've been married for 7 years, what would you tell your single self about dating each other?
Oh my. Oh my. Woo. About dating each other.
Let's see. Wow, that was really good. You go first.
Wow. What would I tell my single self? So I think the first thing I would tell my single self is take the ring out of the pocket when you propose. I didn't have it in my pocket, so she didn't think I was serious, and said okay. Man, that is hard. Whew. I don't think, truthfully, there wouldn't be anything that I would tell my single self other than, regardless, despite of, it will be okay. Because I think the first years of our marriage, we went through so many changes. It was just like nothing was like solid there for a moment. Tia had left her job, 3 months prior to us getting married.
A month before.
I had the bright idea to leave right before we got married. Don't know why I did that, but God had a plan. He had a plan. So we left the company. Ministry obviously wasn't stable at that point. It was relatively brand new to the both of us. There was just a lot that was going on. And I think there were some times that I said to myself that I shouldn't have brought her into all of these struggles. And so I think that would be what I would tell my single self, that as we get in the midst of that struggles, those muddy waters, those cloudy days, I wish I could sing it.
Yes.
Those cloudy days, that it would be okay. It will be okay.
Okay. Right.
For me, I would just say, just have patience, especially at the point where I knew he was the person that God had sent into my life. So to just have patience, because even within that, we were both still learning a lot, working together, to the point where it was a decision I made that we're either going to work together or we're going to be together. So to me, I felt like at that point, and we agreed because we talked about it, that it was best for what was going on for work, which to me was ministry, than us to be in a relationship together. So I although it was a struggle, I just pray to God that if this is your will, you will bring them back and you will bring us back together. And he did.
And what was odd about that, looking back on that, when Tia just said that, I was quote unquote Tia's boss. She was associate director under me. We decided to work together because, again, as she said, it was ministry. And a few months later, they removed me as director and put me in a completely different division. And then we started dating again.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, and there wasn't anything that I did wrong or whatever. It was just like a series of events that was just like, we think you would be better in this area. And although I was upset about it, God really allowed me to travel more. I got an opportunity to speak at the White House and FDA and meet all these senators and stuff. But I was really looking at it as a demotion. But it really wound up being a promotion, because those are the same folks now that are calling, oddly enough, asking for Pastor Will. And, can you attend this meeting? Can you attend that meeting? So here we are. That was probably 8-9 years ago, preparing me for what's taking place today.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't see that at that point.
Awesome. Mm-hmm.
Man.
All right. Last and final question. What would be your 5 ingredients for a healthy marriage? If you had to tell somebody, what would you tell them would be your 5 ingredients?
This is 5 apiece or 5 together?
However you want to do it.
All right, together. Communication.
Definitely communication. My first one would definitely be keep God first and in the center of everything that we do. But communication, I'm going to say love for self first, and knowing self, your own self-worth.
I think making sure that families are one is really important. And we did that even starting at the wedding, that we didn't have like a bride side and a groom side. Folks sort of got to sit where they wanted to sit. And we still have the sign in our dining room, pick a seat and not a side, because those families become so important as well.
And because of those families becoming so important, another thing I was at would be to keep family out of family or marital issues, unless you know that it could be, non-biased, take a side. So to find someone outside of the marriage to trust to talk to.
No, I would,
Okay.
because my family would be on your side all the time.
Mediator that could speak something positively into your life and stay out of all of the other stuff.
Okay, so what we're hearing is God, communication, self-care, oneness, not just oneness with each other, but oneness that encompasses the family,
right,
and boundaries.
Yes, very much so. Very much.
Awesome.
Those were
And
sort
they,
of established. Yeah, I
Mhm.
think they were established as individuals because I have always had boundaries with my family. Like literally on a good day, I could throw a baseball
yeah.
north, south, east, west, and hit a family member's house. But they dare not come to my door unannounced because
Yes.
those were my boundaries. That this household is my sanctuary from all the other stuff and all the other bubbles or whatever. And it's pretty much the same, I think, with your family. Unless there's a crisis, of course, then we sort of jump in.
Yeah,
But when they,
my family not that close, so
yeah,
when they take a trip, it's planned.
right,
Yeah.
when they call,
Yeah, they call.
we don't necessarily jump on the phone and spread that. We just support here, and then if needed, we sort of we jump into the Batmobile, and then we're dispatched
Gotcha.
to wherever. But
Yeah.
we really try to keep it even keeled. I can tell by her body language and her tone if it's something going on, and hey, what's going on? I still don't jump in as the fixer because although I'm a little older than Tia, well, I'm right under her mama. So,
It's not that much older than me.
but I'm the oldest child technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there would be a natural
Yeah.
that well, I'm the patriarch sense of, and that's not my role. I'm there to support
Yeah.
and do what I'm asked, not to jump in and try to fix family dynamics.
Yeah.
And I think Tia does that with my family as well, even with some of my friends, if they can't get me.
But yes, I would say yes.
Mhm.
And with that, because you didn't, I said self-love, but love is there because God is first.
Yes.
And God is love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you all. Thank you all for giving us some authentic responses. And our
Yes.
prayer is that, of course, your answers be a blessing and encouragement to someone else, but also that they be perhaps even some talking points to yourselves to think about and to remember when you first fell in love. And maybe, on a stormy day, that might be a why for you. But we thank you so much for being a part of our Power Couple series. Any last thoughts?
Awesome job. Once again, you guys knocked it out of the box as you always do. So we appreciate you for your time.
All right.
Bless you
Okay.
both.
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.